Before the story even begins, the world gives a warning. Dark figures stand in the falling snow, surrounding a child as if they already know what kind of future is waiting for him. They ask one question. When the hard times arrive, what will he truly seek? For some people, the answer is obvious: riches. A masked fighter dreams of bounty and reward. Others chase fame, desperate to rise in rank, be noticed, and become someone important. And then there are those who want something far more dangerous: power. The kind of power that bends the world around them and turns ordinary people into forces no one can ignore. But this world is not filled with only one kind of dreamer. Somewhere else, a girl wrapped in strange energy tears open a glowing gate, while another watches with fear in her eyes. The narrator makes it clear that there are others too, people with desires no one can fully explain, and those desires are already pushing them toward disaster. Deep inside a hidden chamber, the preparations are complete. A red-hooded figure enters, dragging a body across the floor, while two figures wait in front of a strange blue barrier. The woman in red calmly tells her to lay it down, as if this is nothing more than part of a ritual. The body drops. The room falls silent. Then the real experiment begins. Blue light floods the chamber as the corpse is lifted by a glowing magic circle. The witnesses stare in shock, and even the red-hooded girl seems uncertain as the energy grows stronger. Suddenly the body twists, the flesh breaks, and a blood-covered hand bursts upward from the darkness. Because no matter what someone seeks in this world, whether it is money, fame, power, or something deeper, the dreamer who refuses to stop can keep pushing forward. In every realm, the capacity of a dreamer is truly limitless. High above the city, in the middle of a storm, Ollie crouches outside the glowing dome and stares down at the facility below. He knows exactly what this is: a suicide run with almost no room for error. He only has a couple of minutes to get inside, destroy what he came for, and escape before death starts closing in on him again. But to Oli, dying was never the scariest part. The real nightmare is the pain that comes first. So he stops hesitating. His eyes ignite beneath the hood, his hands flare with heat, and he launches himself straight through the rain. A blazing attack tears toward the dome and slams into the structure, shaking the whole facility and sending the nearby guards into panic. Ollie lands in front of them like a warning made flesh, surrounded by fire and steam. He tells them to get out of his town, or he will kill them where they stand. But instead of backing away, the guards mock him. To them, he is just a lost kid playing hero. They point their weapons at him, threaten to use force, and give him one final chance to leave. Oli answers by choosing violence. The first clash happens so fast, the guards can barely follow it. Oli shoots forward, vanishes from their aim, and appears above them before they can even pull the trigger. He twists through the air, dodging their shots as if gravity barely matters. One guard gets kicked aside. Another tries to track him, only for Oli to use the momentum against him. The fight turns into pure chaos. Bodies flying, weapons missing, boots smashing into armor, and Oli moving like a shadow with fire behind it. Then, with one brutal strike, he sends a guard crashing straight through the glass dome. The ceiling shatters. Broken panels rain into the laboratory below, and the scientists finally look up from their work to realize someone has broken into their fortress. Now the entire building reacts. Alarms scream through the facility. Red lights flash across the wet glass. Scientists shout that they are under attack, while security rushes in from every side. Oli stands outside the broken dome, rain running down his hood, watching them gather around him. His expression does not change because he already expected this. One guard grabs a weapon from the ground and tries to charge while Oli is distracted. But Oli sees the move instantly. He lowers his body, tightens his grip around his blade, and throws himself back into the fight. This time, the clash is different. The next guard is faster, stronger, and far more prepared than the ones before him. Oli dives in from above, aiming to finish it quickly, but the guard blocks and forces him into a close-range struggle. Steel flashes between them. Fists crash into ribs. Ollie tries to overwhelm him with speed, yet the guard keeps pushing back, refusing to collapse. For a moment, the whole fight narrows down to two furious faces inches apart. Neither of them blinks. Neither of them retreats. And both of them are certain the other is about to break first. Then Oli finds the opening. The guard swings too wide, and Oli slips past with brutal precision. One hit breaks him. Another sends him stumbling backward. Suddenly, the man who threatened Oli is shaking, begging for mercy. Oli freezes at that word, mercy. To him, mercy is not forgiveness or kindness. Mercy is the cleanest death someone can be given. But before he can finish it, purple energy erupts from behind and launches Oli across the ground. Oli hits the rain hard, stunned by the force of the attack. For the first time, he looks genuinely hurt, and that makes the situation worse because his body is already running out of time. A stronger guard steps forward, wrapped in violent purple energy, his eyes glowing as he declares that playtime is over. The pressure pouring off him is overwhelming. It feels like the air itself has become heavier, crushing Oli before the next strike even lands. Oli realizes that if he times this perfectly, one clean counterattack could end everything. But the purple guard moves first, firing a blast so powerful that Oli thinks, for one instant, that he is finished. At the last possible second, Oli calls on Niktar. Darkness erupts from his hand and forms a shield just strong enough to catch the purple blast. It does not stop the attack completely, but it buys him the fraction of a second he needs. Oli uses that opening to pull his blade and hurl it toward the fuel tanks. The knife flies through the chaos, strikes the warning sign, and sends sparks bursting across the metal. Inside the dome, the scientists realize what is about to happen. They scream for everyone to get out. The purple guard smiles, thinking he has forced Oli into a corner. Then the entire lab begins to blow. Flames surge through the facility, swallowing the dome in a wave of heat and light. Ollie turns just in time to see the explosion bloom behind him, and even he is shocked by how massive it becomes. But then he understands. That is it. The mission is done. The lab is burning, the enemy's base is ruined, and the path behind him is collapsing in fire. A scientist spots him through the smoke and calls his name, relieved that Oli is still alive. But Oli cannot stop. He has no time left to explain, no time to fight anyone else, and no time to waste on being seen. He sprints through the wreckage and heads straight for the waterfall. The rain finally gives way to the night sky as Oli reaches the edge of the place he still calls home. For the first time in the entire attack, the anger fades from his face. He looks out over the water, the moon, and the broken land around him, and makes a quiet promise. One day, he will bring this place back to its glory days. But his escape is not clean. He grabs a burning branch to pull himself across. The wood cracks beneath his hand, and suddenly there is nothing holding him anymore. Oli reaches upward, desperate for one last grip, but the cliff slips away. His body falls into the water below with a violent splash, and everything turns silent. As he sinks into the dark, he accepts the thought he has carried all along. If this is how his planned death finally arrives, then so be it. Oli sinks into darkness, barely clinging to life after the fall. In that quiet, his mind drifts to memories of the people he lost, and for a moment, It feels like the world is pulling him somewhere far away. Then a voice breaks through the silence. Someone is leaning over him, counting under his breath, trying to force him awake before it is too late. Ollie coughs violently, dragging air back into his lungs, but the stranger can tell something is still wrong. Ollie is breathing, yet his body is burning up, and strange red energy begins crawling over his skin. The boy watching him freezes. He has seen this before, but he cannot remember where. As the red aura grows stronger, Ollie's pain becomes unbearable. It feels like his blood is boiling, his chest is about to burst, and the life is being sucked straight out of him. The stranger panics at first, then realizes there is no time to waste. Ollie, barely conscious, complains that this must be the worst 2 minutes of his life, while the stranger looks at him like he is insane. But then something impossible happens. The damage to Ollie's arm begins to reverse. The missing limb returns, glowing with a strange light, and Ollie stares at it in disbelief. He should be dead. He should not even be able to move. Yet somehow, his body is putting itself back together. When Ollie finally manages to sit up, the stranger asks about his family. Ollie answers with the kind of emptiness that says more than anger ever could. They are all gone. He has no siblings, no parents, and no home waiting for him. The two boys walk beside the water under the night sky, and Ollie asks where the stranger lives, or if he even has anywhere to stay. Instead of answering properly, the boy gives his name, Drama. Ollie tries to be friendly, introducing himself as Oliver Flair, but Drama is not interested in small talk. He points toward the ruined land and explodes with anger. Industrialization came to his home, stripped away its beauty, destroyed outer Thenas, and left him with nothing but ruins. To Drama, the people responsible are not builders or settlers. They are monsters who took everything sacred and crushed it. Ollie understands more than he expected to. He agrees that this place was beautiful, but he also tells Drama that there is still something worth protecting. That answer hits Drama harder than he wants to admit. He lowers his guard slightly, but the tension remains. Ollie notices the damage Drama caused when his power erupted and starts asking about his abilities. Drama explains that whenever he fights, his lip tightens, his arms burn, and after enough tension builds, a strange aura bursts out. The problem is, he cannot control it. After using that power, his body breaks down just like Ollie saw. Ollie smiles, finally understanding the kind of person standing in front of him. Drama is not weak. He is dangerous, untrained, and carrying a power his body can barely survive. So Ollie makes the decision for him. He tells Drama to show him where he lives, promising to walk him home before the same psychos who ruined everything come looking for him again. Drama turns away without another word, and Ollie follows through the forest beneath the moonlight. For the first time since the explosion, Ollie is no longer just escaping death. He has found someone else who might be just as broken and just as powerful as he is. While Ollie and Drama recover outside, another intruder is already moving through the enemy's territory. A red-haired girl slips toward the building with only one thing on her mind. She needs a weapon. Not just any weapon either. She remembers seeing a blade earlier, a famous Zephos connected to Spirit Hollow, and she refuses to believe something that powerful should be locked away like a prize for rich people. She steps inside the massive hall and immediately senses something is wrong. The place is too quiet, no crowds, no guards in sight, just empty floors, display cases, and priceless artifacts sitting around like bait. Her eye begins to flare as she searches, but even then, she cannot find the exact weapon she came for. The exhibits are useless. The relics are disappointing, and the whole room feels like a trap dressed up as a museum. Then she spots something deeper inside, a sealed room, hidden behind the main hall. If the real Xiphos is anywhere, it has to be there, but just as she starts moving toward it, two uniformed guards appear in the corridor. They are talking casually, wondering why most of the others were called away and what they are supposed to do with the strange items being kept there. That confirms her suspicion. Whatever she is looking for is connected to this place, but she cannot just walk past them. So instead of fighting straight away, she changes tactics. She drops to her knees, covers her face, and starts sobbing in a language neither guard understands. The guards freeze, completely confused by the sudden crying girl in the middle of a restricted area. One of them asks what she is doing there. The other moves closer, unsure if she is lost, hurt, or completely insane. And that is exactly what she wanted. The moment they lower their guard, her expression changes. The helpless act disappears, and a grin spreads across her face. She launches forward before they can react, striking both guards with enough force to send them crashing across the floor. In seconds, the same men who thought they had found a harmless girl are left groaning on the ground, while she stands over them like the whole thing was barely a warm-up. She grabs what she can and heads for the sealed room. But the guards are tougher than they look. They force themselves back up and block her path again, warning her that she is not leaving. She smiles, drops the bag beside her, and accepts the challenge. If they want a real fight, she is happy to give them one. The next exchange explodes through the hallway. She rushes in fast, using sharp kicks and sudden changes of direction to keep both guards off balance. One guard creates a glowing shield, while the other attacks from the side with a knife. For a moment, the two of them actually coordinate well enough to pressure her. One defends, one strikes, and every time she tries to break through, the shield gets in her way. But she adapts almost instantly. She notices that one guard reacts faster while the other attacks harder. So she stops fighting them like a pair and starts tearing apart their rhythm. She feints left, kicks right, flips away from the blade, and forces the shield user to protect himself instead of his partner. Each move makes the guards more frustrated, and the more frustrated they become, the easier they are to read. The shield looks powerful, but it has a weakness. It can block her attacks, but every strike damages it. She sees the cracks forming, sees the guard's confidence slipping, and decides to break him head on. He tells her to give up, insisting his shield is too strong, but she charges anyway. Her fists crash against the barrier again and again, each impact shaking the hallway until even the guard starts to panic. Then the blue-haired guard dives back in, trying to catch her from behind. The red-haired girl reacts at the last second, twisting away and turning the attack into an opening. She slams one guard aside, sends the other flying, and refuses to let either of them reset. The fight becomes less like a duel and more like a storm. Kicks, punches, shields, blades, and bodies all collide at once, but she keeps smiling through it. The shield user finally lands a heavy hit, and for one brief moment, it looks like he might have found a way to slow her down. Instead, it only makes her angrier. Her eye burns brighter. Her grin turns colder. She grabs him, drags him into her pace, and launches him around the hall like he weighs nothing. He tries to defend, tries to brace, tries to raise that shield one more time, but she is already inside his guard. With a brutal final rush, she breaks through. The shield cracks, his balance collapses, and she drives him into the ground. Even then, he keeps trying to fight back, so she beats him down until his strength gives out completely. When the dust settles, both guards are unconscious, and she is left standing in the middle of the hallway, breathing hard, bruised, and annoyed that it took that much effort. But victory does not bring relief. She checks the weapon she fought for and realizes the worst possible thing. After all of that, this is not even the right Xiphos. The real one is somewhere else. She takes a moment to breathe, but she cannot stop here. If there are more guards on the higher floors, then Spirit Hollow is probably with them too. And if that is where the real weapon is, then her infiltration has only just begun. Inside the facility, two guards sit back and joke about how ridiculous their assignment is. One admits the job might get them killed, but the other laughs it off, saying that anything ordered by someone that important has to be treated like life or death. What they do not realize is that someone is already listening. Down the hall, the red-haired intruder hears everything. The guards mention that this location will soon be ready, and that their boss is coming because something important has been found. That confirms her worst suspicion. The real Xiphos is not some random display piece. It is here, hidden close by, and the enemy is preparing to move it. She studies the blade she has already taken and realizes it is surprisingly light. If she can grab the loot below and slip out before the soldiers notice, she can still escape cleanly. But the second she turns, one guard spots her from above and shouts. Her plan dies instantly. Instead of freezing, she acts. She draws the blade, aims upward, and sends a blue slash tearing through the room. The attack blasts past the guards and rattles the entire facility. Even she is shocked by what the weapon can do. The power inside it feels strange, heavy, and alive, as if the blade itself is refusing to stay quiet. That single attack exposes her. Somewhere deeper in the building, the scarred commander senses the weapon activate and screams for his men. He knows someone is touching the Xiphos, and his order is simple. Find the intruder, recover the weapon, and if they fail, they are as good as dead. The red-haired girl does not wait for the alarm to spread. She realizes that only one side of the blade can break through the special glass, then swings with everything she has. The case cracks, shatters, and the real prize falls into her hand. Now she has what she came for. All that is left is getting out alive. Two guards burst after her at full speed. She smiles, tells them goodbye, and launches herself down the hall, dragging the blue blade behind her like it weighs nothing. The guards push their bodies to the limit, trying to close the gap before she reaches open space, but she is already moving like the chase belongs to her. Then the commander loses patience. He slams his power into the room, furious that his own people let an intruder get near the Xiphos. A blonde guard and a scarred fighter answer his call, and he orders them to cut her off. If she is heading their way, they are to stop her immediately. The two intercept her before she can disappear. The blonde guard throws chains across the corridor, trapping the red-haired girl in a cage of metal before she can dodge. For the first time, the intruder looks genuinely surprised. She did not expect the guards to catch up that quickly or to attack with that kind of control. But surprise does not mean defeat. She twists away as the scarred fighter charges in, his fist glowing with violent red energy. His punch smashes through the space where she stood, but she slips under it and answers with a strike of her own. The fight explodes in the narrow hallway. Chains snap forward, fists tear through the air, and the red-haired girl keeps moving between both attackers like one mistake could kill her. The blonde guard nearly pins her, but the intruder reacts faster. She dodges the chain, flips past the attack, and kicks the blonde guard hard enough to send her crashing aside. The scarred fighter tries to follow with another empowered punch, but the red-haired girl reads it, cuts through his timing, and forces both guards back. Now the confidence is gone. The guards realize she is not just a thief. She is fast, armed, and dangerous enough to humiliate them even while outnumbered. One screams for help, knowing they are dead if she escapes. Far above them, The commander watches without mercy. He does not care how much damage it takes or how many soldiers get hurt. He only wants the intruder captured, the Xiphos recovered, and the mistake erased before his boss arrives. The red-haired intruder looks around and instantly understands the danger. She is not facing ordinary guards anymore. At least 2 of them are ability users, and their powers fit together perfectly. The chain user can attack or defend from any angle, while the heavy hitter's punches are dangerous enough to end the fight in one clean hit. If either one lands properly, she may not get another chance. But fear is not what shows on her face. The blue blade rests against her shoulder, and she smiles like the odds have only made things more fun. The blonde guard warns her that a kid like her cannot use that sword. She does not care. If they want the Xiphos back, they will have to take it themselves. The first move comes fast. Chains snap across the room, forcing her to dodge as the others close in from different sides. She cuts through the pressure with the blade, moving faster than they expected, but the guards adjust quickly. One calls out a target, and green energy opens beneath her like a trap. She is slammed down, dragged toward the floor, and almost swallowed by the strange power. For a second, it looks like they have finally caught her. But the girl notices the pattern. One attack comes over, one comes under, and the green power needs timing to land. The moment she understands that, she starts moving again. She slips through the trap, catches the rhythm of the chains, and turns their teamwork into a weakness. Then she counterattacks. Her blade flashes, and before the blonde guard can react, her hand is cut clean off. The entire squad freezes. They cannot understand how she knew where to strike or how she read their formation so quickly. But the red-haired girl only smiles at the blood and mocks her, asking if she needs a hand. That joke breaks the blonde guard completely. Screaming in pain and rage, she orders Stark to kill her immediately. Stark charges with his fist burning red, bringing the same terrifying power that almost ended the battle before. He swings with enough force to crush her, but she blocks, redirects the impact, and slips away before the attack can finish. Now the intruder realizes something even worse. The sword is not just sharp, it is waking up. A violent red current crawls across her body, and the Xiphos starts pulling power through her like it has been waiting for this moment. Even she is shocked by the pressure. The guards feel it too. And for the first time, the whole room hesitates. Then the power erupts. A massive red blast tears through the facility, drowning the guards in heat, light, and force. The squad screams as the explosion rips past them, and even the strongest fighters are thrown back like they are nothing. When the smoke clears, the red-haired girl is already outside, clinging to the building with the Xiphos burning in her hand. The guards stare in disbelief as she uses the blade to cut straight through the wall and leap into the night. One of them thinks she has jumped to her death, but their leader knows better. He orders them to chase her down, recover the Xiphos, and retrieve the stolen loot before Grissom finds out. But it is already too late. The girl lands safely beneath the stars, crouched outside the facility with a satisfied grin. She has escaped with the sword, survived 4 ability users, and discovered something terrifying about the weapon's true power. Somewhere out there, Krath is going to love what she has found. And as she disappears into the night, another figure is already running toward the chaos. After everything that happened, Oli and the boy finally reach the place the kid calls home. The night is quiet, but the conversation between them is not. Oli asks where the boy's family went, and the answer comes out colder than expected. His brother left with his closest friends to train in Venture Thenas, and his parents vanished long before that. The only people who really looked after him were his brother and a girl named Irisia. As they stand beneath the giant clock tower, Oli realizes this boy has been surviving almost completely alone. The house he brings him to is barely a home anymore. The roof is ruined, the walls are cracked, the rooms are empty, and even Oli cannot hide how rough the place is. He asks how the kid eats, sleeps, or even keeps himself alive here. The boy takes it as an insult and tells him to leave if he only came to judge him. Oli quickly backs off, trying to explain that he's not mocking him. He is worried. But the boy has heard enough about himself. Instead, he turns the question around and asks Oli who he really is. That question pulls the mood into something heavier. Oli admits that he once had no memories of what happened to him, or why his body became the way it is. He searched for answers across Thenis, and eventually learned why people call him an anomaly. But when the boy says he has heard Oli is supposed to be formidable, Oli only laughs. The stories people tell about him are nothing compared to the truth. Then Oli's eyes sharpen. He stops joking and tells the boy exactly what he sees. The marks on his body are not normal scars. They are not burns, and they are not healed cuts. They are something much deeper. Oli says people born with marks like that should be standing at the top, yet this boy is hiding in a ruined house, throwing his life away because he thinks he is cursed. That finally breaks through. The boy admits what he has been carrying all this time. Everyone he knows left him because he was not strong enough. They told him to find them once he became formidable, but he does not even know how to begin. Every time he uses Arima, his own body suffers for it. If he cannot control his power, then what is the point of chasing any dream at all? Ollie listens, and for once, he does not answer with pity. He thinks of the warriors and mages his brother once described, people so powerful they were treated like gods. Then he looks at the boy and realizes the kid is not weak. He is just untrained. Worse than that, he is carrying a power that destroys what it touches, and he does not even understand what he is holding. So Oli takes him outside and asks him to look at the sky. At first, the boy sees nothing special, but Oli points out the strange marks in his eyes, the signs no ordinary person has. To Oli, those marks mean the boy was never meant to live quietly in this broken place. Then Oli makes his offer. From this day on, the boy will train under him. He will eat when Oli says, run when Oli says, and live under his care until he can survive in the world properly. The boy hesitates, wondering if Oli is serious or just trying to annoy him again. But something about the offer feels different. It feels like the answer to the questions he has carried for years. So he agrees. Oli smiles, telling him there is only one place they need to go first, but as they walk away from the ruined house, Oli cannot shake the feeling that this kid is connected to something much bigger than he understands. The boy thanks him and says he can come back any time. Oli jokes that he is never returning to a dump like this, but the truth is clear. Their journey has just begun.